Hey Dragon Ballers, welcome back to the channel. John over here at Lock TCG, bringing you your first video of 2023 over at Koalaty Games. Today we do have our first locals of the 2023 Dragon Ball season. We did start our Dragon Ball League over at Koalaty Games, and we have a feature match with Jim piloting his Magenta deck, and familiar face to the channel, Will. He's playing Mono Blue Majin Buu. Both are very interesting decks. Definitely, I don't think anything meta-wise, but it's definitely an interesting match, and I did enjoy watching it and seeing the games that were played on Wednesday. I have played against Will's Boo deck before. It definitely is, how would you put it, a fun deck to go against. It has its odds and ends and its ways of winning, and Jim has been enjoying and loving playing his Magenta deck even more. Only me on the channel, on the video today. And yeah, so starting off, we're having Will charging his 1 energy, and he's going to go and swing. Oh, Jim went first, actually, so Jim already did charge. Looks like Jim's going to counter with the freeze right away. He does want to take on that early damage. And that's something I always see Will doing. He always likes to pay 1, play the Zeno, and draw the free card. Jim's going to his turn, charging his 2nd energy. Now he's at the potential to awaken. Now, the one thing I can't remember about Jim's villainous deck is if he untaps on his awaken. I do know that, how would you put it? For his deck, it's a, so for those of you who don't know, villainous is kind of like a pseudo AOD deck in the, and when I say pseudo, it's in the same thought and premise of, it's just a bunch of evil bad guys from Dragon Ball. They put them all into a deck archetype, not Agents of Destruction like AOD, but they're just called the Villainous archetype. And Villainous was an old skill that was brought in. I want to say Malicious Machinations was the set it first was introduced for. Didn't see much play, but it did in writing. It was a good effect. If you play another card with Villainous while you have a Villainous card on the field, your opponent discards a card. Now, the best part about this is it's much more up-to-date playable cards that can be played, and then you can get the Villainous triggers. So, for example, he has the Frieza already on the field, and he just played the Bojack after comboing it and paying 1. He gets the trigger to make Will discard a card. The whole game of Jim's approach is going to be aggression and hand destruction, which from what I've seen, it's very good. There are some 1-drops like this Mercenary Tau, and I think it's King Gurumes, that also have Villainous, so they do trigger Villainous. However, something to be noted is, I believe I want to say for both of them, they do have this auto skill. Once you use their Villainous effect, it's negated for the game. Because having a bunch of 1-drop Villainous guys that just would constantly get their trigger is extremely broken. Because then you would just have to play cards and your opponent would discard cards. But yeah, so going on, he does have that. So he has 3 Villainesses on his field. Looks like he's going to go and swing again. No, he did the Villainous trigger. So it looks like Jim right now is just trying to dwindle Will's hand down without giving him life. If he did keep hitting him, he's going to get cards from his life into his hand. So right now Jim wants to try and get him as low as possible early on and kind of make Blue feel that pain, because obviously with Mono Blue, and especially with like older decks like the Boo, if you don't have a very good draw engine, you're going to feel the burn really fast if someone's making you intentionally lose cards out of your hand. Will's going in for another leader swing at Jim's Magenta. Looks like he comboed 1, charges Z energy here, and he also did play the Android 1718. That's how he got the combo from his drop. Swinging again. And looks like Jim's going to combo out of it for 1. Okay. Looks like Will's doing his leader's ability to, I believe it's burst, and then I think he grabs something, or he charges, I can't remember. Okay. Jim going for his leader swing on his turn 3. Definitely starting to teeter up for Jim's side. Will isn't awakened yet. He does still get the free combo off his Unison. However, with Jim making Will discard a large majority of his hand, it does seem like he is going to have to be careful on his hand resources. So he's doing the effect, pay 1, he gets to play a villainous card from his hand. Looks like Jim is choosing to play the Beerus. Now he will get the villainous trigger on the Frieza. Now what I'm confused about too is I wonder why he comboed the Bojack away instead of the Tau. Because the Bojack could have been A, another swing resource, and B, his villainous would be still in effect after this turn. That's why he put the dice on his Tau, because his Tau can't use the villainous trigger anymore. Looks like he's swinging with the Frieza. I believe he's swinging at the Unison. That would be the best choice right now. Will is forcing himself to add cards to his hand with Sparking. Jim's going at the Unison again. Just trying to deny that life gain again. Ah, that's why he did it, because he had another Bojack in hand, and I'm pretty sure you can only have one on the field. Not 100% sure, but that's going to trigger another villainous effect off the Beerus, because remember, villainous is a hard once per turn per card. But then once you pass, obviously, to your opponent's turn, and like you can play the Bojack during your opponent's turn, you can play the Frieza during your opponent's turn, it definitely does make a difference. And I believe, I don't know if the Beerus is a rival, but I know the Bojack may have unique or something. Yeah, the Bojack has unique. That's why he had to do it, because the Bojack has unique, and he wanted to play another one. Okay, looks like he's going to go ahead and pass his turn. Will's entering his turn 3. Now I know a boss monster for Jim in his deck is he does play a red triple strike Brawly, which I know from playing against Jim, it definitely is a monumental push. So looking now, looks like Will is going to play Zeno again after having it bounce his hand. He's going to draw another card. I believe he just drew another Zeno. He's going to do his leader ability to burst. He's really going through his deck right now. He's going to play the Boo from his energy, and then he's going to charge another Boo. So now I believe he has the piece to where he can evolve from his energy. Now, I don't know which one this is for. I know like there's this one, and then there's the Battle Evolution 1-drop, I believe, where one goes up one chain line, one goes up the other. And then he also, if you notice in his energy, he does have the new anniversary promo Majin Buu as well. He's going to pay 1. Looks like he is going to go ahead and do that ability. He's playing the Buu from his energy. When he gets played, he's going to get the Go tanks underneath it. And Boo's going to charge again, hitting another Buu Go tanks. See, and like a lot of these cards, like I personally, Destroyer Kings was if I had to choose a favorite set, Destroyer Kings is probably my favorite set of all time. I think just its personal experiences, the SPRs, the events that were going on, and everything like that block, I enjoyed so much. It was before multicolor, which I'm not saying multicolor is bad or anything. Excuse me. I just enjoyed the block and the set all in all. Let me see. The what I was going with on that is how I like the SPRs especially, because my favorite ones from that were the Gogetas. I know Jim, he got the Brolys. I know our buddy Robbie got the Boos. I believe Xavier got, I think there were the Gohans, the Gohan he got from there. Um, I think if anyone got the most SPRs, it was Jim, because he needed the Paragus, and both Brolys, because there was the old Broly and new Broly. Um, but Destroyer King cards, and like I just like how like people are incorporating old cards and new decks. They're getting support. Like I just like seeing that, especially in this game, because I feel like a lot of games you don't see that as much, where you will have what's meta relevant, what's currently winning, not like old stuff. And like I feel like a lot of times that's what locals come down to and boil down to is what people can do and play. Um, for example, like yesterday, or I think it was the day prior, I was just sitting at my computer. I think I brewed about 3 or 4 decks on DBS Deck Planet, and I think I don't think any of them were for new leaders. Actually can pull it up right now. I'm not gonna say. I think the only one I was gonna say, yeah, the only one I'll say, which is obvious, was I don't know if anyone, if in case you don't know, there is a blue Gogeta BR leader. It is one of my top favorite leaders of all time. When that leader came out, it could not work because there was no support for it, and the Veku that needed to be used for it did not exist. Um, However, I think it was like it was like the first major event after Destroyer Kings, because it was Dragon Ball Celebrations. They announced the Veku promo, and that came out, and it was just a very good blue ramp deck that you played blue, red, good stuff. And I had so much fun with it. I think I entered Celebrations for Team Wars with my buddies. If you ever ask Jim, he's going to make fun of me because I did not complete the Team Wars event. But I did immediately go play in the side events because I was playing the heck out of Veku and Gogeta. Essentially, um, it's not doesn't have a good awaken because you still have to awaken 4 life or less, which is very, I would not say outdated or archaic in this metagame. But it is dangerous because especially if you have like aggressive decks going at you, once they see you're at 4, they'll try and push you down. Um, However, especially now, like they're trying to push you down, or they'll control when you take your life. Now, having the Vegeta Z battle card definitely helps too, so I can strike my own life down whenever I want. But I was working on decks like that, a couple other old decks, trying to get out of the preferred color combo I usually like. I'm preferably red and blue are my 2 faves, but I've been trying to get into green and yellow recently. But yeah, enough about me and old decks and brewing. Going to the game right now, looks like Will did try to push a little bit, but it seems Jim was able to combo and stop Will. I don't think he swung with the Goat Tank's Boo. Jim is entering his turn 4. I don't think he's going to pass turn. I think Will is at either 3 or 4 life. Let's see. So no, not Will. It looks like Jim did play another villainous card, getting a trigger there. He did play the Broly. So that Broly gains triple strike for the turn. I believe he's a base 25k. Looks like no, Will's not. Okay, so Will isn't doing Dirty Burst. It looks like he's just pitching off the villainous triggers because I believe he plays that. That's 3 discards Will has to do, which honestly speaking, taking a beating already for most of the game where Jim's making you slowly dwindle your hand discard and just having to dump even more cards does hurt a lot. It most definitely does hurt. That triple strike is definitely going to be monumental to Jim either getting or winning the game because right now he can push with his leader, he can push with everything else, but it looks like he's choosing just to swing right away with the Broly. What else thinking right now? Yeah, he has a Dimension Magic. Negating the attack right away, taking a life, leaving him, it looks like, at 2 life. And Jim may go and just start pushing. Yep, no, he's pushing into the Unison. still wants to deny Will that hand advantage, which I remember if like Jim was ever learning anything from his games with Villainous, it's he wants to make sure that his opponent cannot get hand advantage until he goes for the lethal blow, because an opponent starting their turn with 1 card and 3 life is much less threatening than Will, for example, going at say 5 cards and 1 life left, because he could have that potential to just either wipe his field, stop him, whatever. Looks like Jim passed and Will's entering his turn. I'm going to assume he has a Frieza in his hand. If he has a Bojack, he can't use it, unfortunately, because he does have a Bojack on the field. But if he does... Well, no, even if he has the Frieza, he can't play the Frieza, actually. So I'm trying to think if there's another counterplay villainous card. I don't think there is. Because if he had a way... If he has a way to get rid of the Bojack, then he can play Bojack. And that would be very good, because then he gets 1, 2, 3, 4. He gets 4 villainous triggers, which would, I believe, get rid of the rest of Will's hand. However, I don't know if he has a way to get it. He's going to do Protector of the People. Okay. Oh, no, he does. He's going to Protector of People, and then he'll play a 1-drop from his drop area. He'll play King Gruma's, and then Will has to drop his entire hand. So Will loses his hand off just a 1-drop negate and a 1-drop play. Because I believe Protector of People, it may negate the skills. So I think right here, Will's only choice right now is to sell. He's going to grab, I believe, everything. I don't know if any of these guys have barrier, but he's going to clear. He's going to guarantee clear Jim's field right now. I think he should have cleared the field first before swinging, because that was most certainly an astounding play on that. But Will's operating with no hand right now. Jim knows what he has, but now Jim lost his entire field of built-up pressure. And now Will has to decide if he's swinging or not. I would assume he is, because at this point, he's got nothing left to lose. He lost his hand, so he is defenseless until he takes a life, unless Jim hits him for crit. He's going to go get a Majin Buu token, so he at least has a combo piece there. I believe they're 5k combos. Don't hold me. Don't fact check me on that. I'm probably wrong. Looks like he's thinking about what he wants to do. I believe Jim has a secret rare in his hand. I think it's the Vermilion Sands, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's what he's just going to do. I think it's a counterattack, right? Yeah, he's reading it. So he's going to Vermilion Sands. I believe that lets, for each color, it's each color's energy, he gets to get rid of a battle card. I believe Ignoring Barrier or Warp It. So he's going to get rid of the Cell. He's going to get rid of the Boo. So yeah, he just clears Will's whole field. So now neither of them have a whole field. Will has no hand, 1 energy up. Unless he can somehow top deck off his life a Dimension Magic. Jim may just have it on the crack. Oh, I can't remember what that 1-drop Goku does. Let's see. Will has to either play Heart in the cards or strike his own life. So let's say, oh, he's gonna play the Boo. He's gonna charge a Boo. I was gonna say, because if it's 1 energy, I believe he could still play another Gotenks Boo. Yep, there we go. He's playing a Gotenks Boo. But he does not have a Go Tanks underneath it. Oh, but he can get one from his deck. Huh, didn't know that. I believe Will then makes a Ghost token. So he at least recovered that. He still is energy locked. Um, Even though he paid the energy, he at least has the 5k combo on the Boo. Because I believe those Boos were still 5k combos. And the Ghost token. Right now, oh, Jim just has a Broly. I was going to say, KO's that, and I think Jim just has it on the swing. And there you go. Jim took the game with Villainous, beating the Blue Boo. It's always great to see more diverse decks and gameplay at our local store. Again, if you are in the Chicagoland area or nearby, come check us out on Wednesdays. I have the store link, Facebook page in the comments, along with our upcoming case tournament and information on our Dragon Radar Dragon Ball League. My name's John. Thanks for tuning in to Lock TCG, and Happy New Year, everybody.